Hi, welcome to the Passionate Spinner podcast. I have absolutely no idea what episode this is, but I can tell you that I'm Tracy and I am the Passionate Spinner. And I will find out the episode number and put it in a title so you will know before you watch it. It's been forever since I sat down to record a normal episode. You know, just a normal sit down and chat about all the things I'm working on. And there's two reasons for that. First of all, I wanted to change things up a bit, make shorter videos, more specific ones, and I will keep doing that. And the other reason was I kind of got a little bit of video fatigued after Vlogmas and doing videos every single day and then having all of those ideas. And I needed a bit of time, to find back to what I enjoy doing. And I realized that I just really want to sit down and record a normal podcast. So that's what we're doing. Okay, what I'm wearing, this is a flax light that I knit out of Ferne Wolle. It's a sock yarn and I love it. It's one of my most worn sweaters. For knitting in the past, I have two finished socks to show to you. I do not have any sock blockers because I didn't bring any, but these are the socks. And yes, they still need their partners. They will get their partners at some point, but they are done. And this is my own pattern. This is called Steibis, which is a little town close to where I live. And I just like the name for the socks. And this pattern is currently in testing and will be released next week on Friday, I think was my plan. So you will see another video about these socks shortly, once the pattern is ready for release. The other thing I have done is a pair of slippers. They look like this. They're also a pattern that I wrote, and these are loosely based on slippers that I learned to knit when I was a child from my then best friend's mother. And I kept a few things the same and a few things I changed. So yeah. These are slippers. They're super comfy. I knit them with sock yarn held triple. These are mine. They're from my shoe size. And I cannot show them to you because no, I can't wear them and show them at the same time. It's not possible. But yeah, these are mine. They're also done. And I used commercial sock yarn. I chose 3 skeins that I thought would look nice together and knit them up. And I'm super happy with these. So yeah, that's the things that I've done. I kind of feel like I've been working on a lot of different projects, but I have not finished a whole lot of projects this year, which is fine. I know that I am knitting a lot. So the first thing I will show you is in this little bag or basket here. I got this in a book box and it's supposed to hold, the next 5 or 6 books that you want to read, and it's a perfect size for a project. So it holds a project. It holds the slippers for my husband. So this is my husband's size, and the pattern will have 3 sizes: kids version, small female adult teenage version, and a larger adult version. So again, this sock yarn held triple, and for this I have the yarn to show you. Here it is. So these are the yarns I'm using. This is opal, and this is online yarn. I've had them in my stash forever. And the booklet in here is my, design ideas and Patreon ideas and my business and everything. All the important stuff is in this little notebook. So yeah, I have this project in here and I hope to release the slippers sometime in March as well. So on the floor you go. Next, let's see what's in here. I think in here I have a pair of socks that I am knitting as a custom order. Yes. So this yarn I bought at one of the factory outlet shops that we have in Germany. So it is either Schachenmeier or it is Austermann. Schellon Stahl. I do not know. It's one of those. It's a commercial German sock yarn. That's all I know. And this is the sock. I have one of the needle cozies on that I got. And here I am. I just did the heel. I finished the gusset. I am working my way down the foot now. And this is a custom order that I received in my studio here. And yeah, it's smooth sailing. It's a vanilla sock. I love knitting vanilla socks. And that's what this is. So I cannot tell you anything else about these because I don't know what yarn it is. Yeah, so let's just try to ignore that. In this project back here, I have another plain vanilla sock. I know that. And this is Gründel yarn. It's Hot Socks by Gründel. And I am knitting this for my studio shop just to, you know, to have. I'm going to do like a size 40 because I have a lot of 38 and I do have 45, but I have nothing in between. So this will become a size 40 and I really love how this is knitting up. I knit my socks always on 2.75 millimeter needles. That is a US 2. I always use DPNs. I always knit my socks top down. And for adult socks, for the smaller ones, I do 64 stitches. The ones I just showed you have 68 stitches. And for like my husband's socks, he has large feet and wider ankles. I use 72 stitches. And I have a fuzz in my nose now. So yeah, I think this yarn knits up so pretty. It's really, really gorgeous and will be in my shop once it's done. But I am in no hurry with that, you know. I just decided that I don't want to stress myself out as much anymore because I did a lot of stressing out last year and I didn't like it. So I have a few more knitting projects to show. One of them is this one here. And it is another version of my Steibis sock pattern. And I decided to do another one of the 4-color version. So my pattern will come in 2 versions. You can do it with 2 colors, like the black one, and you can do it in 4 colors, like this one. And this is another version of the 4-color one because I really wanted to try these colors and I love them. But I'm also glad I didn't choose these. I did not choose these for the actual pattern, if that makes sense. Mainly because the yarn that I'm using, I think is not made anymore. This is Regia Angora. And I don't think, oh no, I do have a label for it. So this is the label. This is Regia Angora Merino. And it is a mix of 65% merino wool, 25% polyamide, and 10% Angora fiber. And I have the Regia Angora for the yellow, the pink, and the blue, and only the gray is Regia Tweed left over that I'm using. So this is super soft, really nice, and they will definitely be for me. I have decided that already. Now, one more knitting project that I have not yet showed you in a different video, I think. And that is almost finished, actually. It's a Sophie scarf. Can you can you tell how much is left? I'm almost finished with this. I knit on this exclusively when I am editing videos for either YouTube or for my Patreon. And it is quite long. The Sophie scarf is a very small scarflet, but they are super in right now. There's lots of patterns popping up on Ravelry for those small, skinny, short scarves. And I am really loving this. And you can see the sparkle. I am using 2 different yarns for that. Now, let me put this away so I can show you the yarns. Also, the needles. These are Diag Craft straight needles. And I have 1 pair and I've been using it for my Sophie scarf knitting. Because this is my 3rd Sophie scarf. And I use this on the computer, you know, because it's a small project and I can just throw it down. And the rows are not long ever. So the yarns I'm using are these two. And yes, I could have made it a lot bigger and longer. And I didn't, and I'm regretting that now, but I will not rip it back. The thing is, this yarn here, Lana Grossa Diamant, or Diamante. And this yarn here, also a Lana Grossa, but that one's called Eco Puno. They have different length. So this is shorter than this is. And normally you would say, just measure, you know, weigh it and knit up until half and then you decrease down. But this one also has a cardboard core. So I couldn't weigh it because I do not know how much that cardboard core weighs. So I eyeballed it and made sure that I had way more than half of this one left because this is less. So I needed, yeah. It doesn't matter. I could have knitted a lot bigger and I didn't. So the Eco Puno yarn is a 72% cotton, 17 merino, and 11 alpaca yarn. It's really, really nice and soft. And the Diamante is a 100% polyester, and it has those little sequins in. And even, you know, they're shiny. They make the whole thing very cool, but they're also scratchy. So this is super soft, and this just isn't. So the scarf itself now is not as soft as it could have been. Also, if you touch this yarn, it will just fall off, and then it unravels from your bobbin and everything is full of this yarn. Another thing I hate about this yarn is, and I'm not sure if I will be able to show this to you, but the structure of this yarn, it's kind of a, you can see it on my forehead. Can you see how it is different threads that are just loosely connected? I've been splitting that stuff so much. It's not even funny, but I'm going to use the leftover for making art yarn on the spinning wheel. So it's all fine. But yeah, it's a super easy project to do. I have that much left to knit. So I should probably just sit down and finish it, you know, so I can start a new one as my editing project. Yeah, I'm going to put that away now. It is, like I said, it's super easy. The pattern is called Sophie Scarf. It's by Tinka Knit. There are a lot of those skinny scarves now out, some with cable patterns and, you know, just all kinds of different ones. Then now I have one more knitting project, and then I have a lot of crochet as well. So I'm going to stop with, I'm going to do the knitting one first, and then I will switch over to crochet. I started yet another blanket. It's a theme, you will see. When you look at behind me, this blanket here is my most used blanket that I made. It took me exactly 10 years to the day to make. It is called the Itty Bitty Sock Yarn Bits blanket, and it's super easy. It's a free pattern. What do you do basically, because it's free, I can tell you, you cast on however many stitches you want. You knit in garter stitch until you're kind of sick of it. Then you bind off, and then you pick up stitches from the side, either side. And then you knit in that direction until you decide that, boring, bind off and pick up on one of the other three edges. And that's how you do this. And this is where I am. So the last one, I actually did use all leftovers. This one here is all leftovers. This one here is 10 skeins of coordinating colors that I decided to use. 9 of them are hand dyed and 1 of them is from Regia. There are all kinds of different dyers. And I just wanted to make another one of these. And this was the only project I've been knitting on for myself in the last few weeks because I love knitting on this. I love my blankets. They are my comfort project. And I think I realized why. So a few years ago, I was knitting a lot of sweaters, like 25 sweaters a year. And before that, I knit like 40 pairs of socks a year. But the thing is, I don't need socks for myself anymore. I am knitting socks for my shop here, but not for me. The same goes with the sweaters. I have so many sweaters, you know, and I have a lot of sweaters still on the needles and lots of sweaters I do want to make. But do I need any of them? Not really. I don't need blankets as well. You know, I have 2 here, 3 actually, 1 smaller one. I have some upstairs, but I just feel like a blanket is the ultimate comfort project for me for right now, because it takes longer to finish and it's something that will fit no matter my body size, you know, and it just makes me happy. So I've been knitting and crocheting a lot on blankets. And this is, like I said, the start to a new itty bitty sock yarn bits blanket. What I'm doing, and I'm doing that the same as I had done for the first one, I will make 4 rectangles, roughly 60 by 80. Make sure that all of the 4 are the same size, of course. Then I will seam them together. And then whatever yarn I have left, I will put around on the outside as a border. Because that way the pieces will not get too big, you know, and I don't have to have a super heavy thing on my lap all of the time. I'm knitting this out of sock yarn on a 3.5 millimeter needle and in garter stitch. Nothing special, just fun, you know, a fun project. I'm loving it. So I also really like the colors I chose. I think they go well together. So it's a comfort pattern and a comfort project, like all of the other blankets I'm working on. So I'm going to show you the crochet stuff now. This was the knitting. It's all the knitting I have been working on. It's all the knitting I can show. But I have crochet. Now, get out of here. This does not usually live in the same basket, but I had to carry it downstairs. So in here, I have a blanket that I am doing for my son. And I put my crochet hook in here, so I have to try and get it out. This is a very simple double crochet blanket. No pattern to it. And I am doing it out of hobby yarn. So my son chose the colors. This is one of the colorways. The other colorway is like a navy blue and different types of purple. And I'm doing a blanket, of course. I just cast on or chained a lot. And when I thought, oh, so I think that's a nice size. I cannot even show you, can I? Can you see? This is the size. So it's my wingspan. And I had ordered 4 skeins of yarn, 2 of the purple and 2 of the greeny pink. And then I crocheted up the first skein of purple, the whole thing. And my blanket was this big. So I thought to myself, you know, 4 skeins might not be enough. So I ordered another 8 skeins. So I have 6 from every color in total. And what I've decided to do is I crocheted up one of the purple skeins, and now I'm doing a green, and then a purple, and then a green, and then this, and then that, and this, and then that. And I think that that is going to look really cool in the end, because the yarn is kind of self-striping, you know. And this is Hobby Halloween something. They have this yarn in 2 different versions. I chose for this blanket because it's for my child. And he's a child, and they spill stuff. I decided to go for the yarn that is 100% acrylic, but they also have the same yarn in a sock yarn blend. It is a thin single with, well, it's actually, is it still a single if it's plied with that glitter stuff? I'm not quite sure. But yeah, this is what I am working on. Have I unraveled something now? No, I haven't. Good. And I am crocheting that on a 3.5 millimeter hook, and that is a size E for Americans. Yeah, it's just super simple double crochet, and I'm not in a hurry to finish this, but also I crochet this part up a lot quicker than I expected. So that is this blanket. It's super fun, super glittery. And I started taking it out every morning. You know, I have my first cup of coffee, I do my journal. And then for my second cup of coffee, I sit at my dining room table and I crochet on this or the other thing I'm going to show you in a second. But yeah, this is what I have been working on. when I put it away, I just stab it with the crochet hook, leave a very long loop, and then pop it away like this. So yeah, that's the first crochet blanket I'm showing you. I'm going to show you at least 2 more. So let's go with the one that you have seen before first. I have, the pattern is buried somewhere, but I am working on this here. And this will be like a large star. And the thing is, these, what looks like a ladder now is actually also called a ladder. It's called a Jacob's ladder. And every one of these longer strips here has a small loop in the beginning. And you will then later kind of knit it up, you know, like you were fixing a fallen knit stitch. You will knit it up and fix it in the last round. So that will shrink together and it will look like a knitted loop. It would kind of look a little bit like the last Stephen West mystery shawl, the bits that everybody hated, the binding off and casting on all the time, that you then had to loop together. It would kind of look like this. So yeah, this is that. I am using a gradient yarn for that. And I started in a sandy color and it's going into a dark wine red. So this is just very easy to do as well. It's just double crochet again. And I'm using this hook for it, which is the most exciting thing about this whole project. And it is a 4.5 millimeter, and that is a G hook, apparently. So yeah, that's this pattern. I started this sometime last year when I got back into crochet, and I've been working on it on and off ever since. Now, I have started a project, a crochet blanket, during Vlogmas, and I'm sure I showed it, but it is right in front of me, so let's talk about it. For this one here, I am using, once again, yarn from Hobby, and this is some of their Christmas yarn, and I again chose 100% acrylic for ease. You know, I want to have an easy to care for blanket. I bought this beautiful crochet hook. It's a 4 millimeter one, and for this I decided to do crochet moss stitch. My plan was during Vlogmas to make to crochet up 1 color sequence a day. That's how far I got. I have 3 completed color sequences in this. So I just didn't have time, but I really like how the moss stitch looks. And moss stitch in crochet is where you do a single and a chain, single, a chain, and in the row after that you offset it. So you have a single in the chain below and then a chain over the single. It's super easy to do. And yeah, I'm using this yarn. I think I have 6 skeins and each skein has 200 grams. And it's roughly the same width as the other blanket, but not quite. So it's a bit smaller and I'm actually not very happy about that. So I will probably do a border around in the end to make it a bit wider and bigger. But I don't know yet. I'm just gonna do a center with this moss stitch and then I'll decide sometime in the future. Also, the loop that I left was super tiny, so make it big. Yeah, haven't touched that since like December 4th. And now the last crochet blanket I am working on. Have it in here. I just bought this project bag last week. It's not supposed to be a project bag, you know, it's supposed to be a cosmetics bag, but it's a bag, it has a zipper, it's a project bag, right? I mean, so in here, 3.5 millimeter hook, fingering weight yarn. I started a Babette blanket. So the Babette blanket is very famous and it's made out of filled granny squares in different sizes. And I started and made my first square. So this is the first one. And yes, here my yarn had a knot. And no, I wasn't happy about that because I was so glad that I could get this whole cool color gradient in. And then there was a knot. But oh well. The one thing that I don't like about this is that you have to seam together all of the squares. So you could be doing it in a way, you need them all different sizes, right? So this is the largest size, and I need 2 of these, and then I need 2 of that, and 50 of these. But I don't want to make them all now and then attach them. What I want to do is, there's a diagram for how to attach them to each other to make it easy and quick. And this is kind of block 1, and next to that is block 2. That's made out of 3 squares in different sizes. And I kind of want to do that next block. And once that those 3 squares are done, I want to seam them together and attach them here. So I get to do, you know, build it as I go. And I think that's what will work for me. So what I'm using is Crazy Zauberball by Schoppelwolle for this blanket. And this is the colorway Frische Fische. I have one skein here so I can actually show you the tag. So this is the yarn. It comes in all kinds of colors. And this is the label. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's a 75-25 sock yarn blend. Just a very straightforward, normal sock yarn, you know. And I have some leftovers, but I also carry this yarn in my shop here. So I will probably choose 3 or 4 colors to fill in gaps, because I want this to be like really, really colorful. And yeah, this is already here because it's for a custom ordered pair of socks that I have to knit. And the leftovers then will, of course, go into this blanket, because that's what I'm using for this blanket. So yeah, this is the Babette blanket. I do not know who is the designer, but the pattern is paid for through Interweave Knits, I think. And that is what I'm actively working on right now. I still have all of my 12 cast-ons. You know, I cast on 3 projects, and those are, of course, still on the needle, and I haven't touched any of them. And yeah, that's about it. I've done a little bit of spindle spinning, but I didn't bring it, so I cannot show you anything for that. It's been a while. What else can I tell you? Let me try to think. New stuff. I bought myself a knitting book, and it is here. I want to show you. I got the Knitted Kalevala. It is by Jenna Kostet. And if I have understood this correctly, it's based on an epic poem in Finland. You know, one of those epics that you have for your country. Epic stories, epic poems. And Kalevala is, how I understand it, one of those in Finland. And she based her designs on that story, poem, epic, whatever. And I really like it. There are a few patterns in here that I really, really want to make. But I'm going to try to find the one that actually made me buy the pattern in the end. It's pretty far in the back, I think. I hope. Here it is. So this is the one that I really want to make. And that is the reason why I bought the book in the end. So yes, I got that. And I think that's the new stuff that I have to show. Really boring. I didn't get a lot of stuff, which is kind of a good thing because I have a lot of stuff. For reading, listening, watching, reading is separate now. I'm not doing that in the videos anymore. Listening as well, because I usually talk about audiobooks there. So it's only watching remains. I finally watched Wednesday. I finally did it. I watched it one day, loved it. And then I haven't watched anything since, really. What did I watch? I watched the first 2 episodes of Warrior Nun. And I want to continue watching that because I found it fun. So yeah, I kind of haven't watched anything really. So that's nothing to report there. That brings me to everything else. The next VKN is on the 11th of March, I think. We checked it out. I'm pretty sure it's the 11th of March. If that is a Saturday, if that's not a Saturday, I have no idea when it is. But, you know, it's as good as it's gonna get today. And the other thing for everything else always is mental health talk. And I'm great. I'm doing wonderful. I have ups and downs, and I think that's normal. And I have days where I'm super anxious and where everything sucks. And, you know, those days where you feel like everything is horrible and I suck especially, I still have those days, but they're not as many, you know? They're getting further and further apart. And yeah, I'm doing great. I have a lot of work that I put on myself because, you know, I am self-employed. So kind of need to learn a better balance there. And I tried by, you know, working on those blankets and just taking a step back. Not everything I make has to be for my shop. I can make things for me. I can take time out of my day for that. So that's what I've been doing. I have also been sewing a lot, but I will put all of that in a separate video because that just would have been too long. So sewing will be in a different extra video. And I've also, forgot what I wanted to say. Oh no, I started doing classes here in my studio. I am teaching knitting for beginners right now. I will start spinning for beginners starting next week, and I'm just excited about everything that's happening here. And yeah, it's great. If you want to know more about me and what's going on in my life and what I do all the time, you know, you can check out my Patreon. I upload a weekly vlog every week over there. Usually it's about an hour long, and I take you through my week, and yeah, you get to have a look behind the scenes, really. I also upload all of my patterns that I release to my Patreon. And there's also recipes and spinning tutorials and knitting tutorials and technique videos, and it's full of stuff. So if you want to check that out, please do. I would love to have you over there. And I think that is it for me for today, for this normal podcast episode. I will see you again tomorrow, actually, because I'm going to upload a video tomorrow. And then probably again on the weekend for my reading wrap up for February. You know, there's a lot of stuff still coming. I still want to do those small specific videos, but I also want to do like just a normal catch up. Anyway, I want to do a catch up video with you every now and then. And that is what this is. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will be here for the other videos I will upload in the coming days. And I hope you enjoy everything you do. See you next time. Bye.